It's December 1st, 2018. CCTV cameras capture 22-year-old Grace Millane with her Tinder date, Jesse Kempson, as they prepare to leave a bar. The two had met only hours earlier, but things appeared to be going perfectly. They laughed, drank, and seemed to connect instantly. Soon after, the pair could be seen heading toward a nearby hotel, straight up to Jesse's room. From the outside, everything looked like a normal date between two young people. No one watching that footage could have imagined that these were the last moments Grace would ever be seen alive. The next morning was supposed to be her 22nd birthday. Her friends and family sent messages, birthday wishes, photos, but Grace never responded. Hours turned into days, and it was as if she had vanished without a trace. Worried sick, her parents contacted police in New Zealand and reported her missing. Meanwhile, back in Auckland, security footage showed Jesse Kempson moving up and down the hotel elevator again and again. He was seen carrying cleaning supplies and later a large suitcase. A suitcase that would soon reveal something horrific. And what made it worse, while investigators were just beginning their search for Grace, Jesse was already arranging another Tinder date. If police didn't act fast, there was a real possibility that another innocent woman could be next. Police brought Jesse in for questioning.
Tell me what happened last Saturday.
From the beginning?
Yeah.
It was 5:37 p.m., December 1st, 2018. Grace, fresh from a long backpacking trip across South America, left her hostel in Auckland to meet Jesse. At the same time, Jesse was already at a local bar, drinking heavily, several bottles down before their date even began. When he finally left, there were still 4 empty beer bottles on the table behind him. The two met in a busy, well-lit area, the kind of place where anyone would feel safe meeting a stranger for the first time. But Grace's sense of safety would prove tragically misplaced. Over the next few hours, they visited a series of bars, first one for cocktails, then a Mexican restaurant, and finally around 8:30 p.m., a pub called the Bluestone Room. This is where Jesse decided to make his move. At 8:54 p.m., security footage showed them sharing a kiss. Moments later, Jesse excused himself to use the bathroom. During that short break, Grace sent a final message to her friends back home. "It's going so well. I really click with him." She had no idea that within hours, her life would be over. The next morning, Grace's phone was flooded with birthday messages, friends, family, and loved ones all trying to reach her. Every message went unanswered. By 8 a.m., her silence was already setting off alarms. Something was very, very wrong. When Jesse steps into the elevator alone, his glance toward the camera is guarded, almost as if he's checking whether anyone's watching. If you believe he's simply out to fetch a birthday coffee for the girl he spent the night with, think again. That morning, while Grace lay lifeless in his room, Jesse was already in motion, preparing a cold, calculated plan to hide what he had done. He didn't have time to waste. And worst of all, another unsuspecting woman was already lined up. By 8:07 a.m., Jesse is on the move through town on what would become a chilling shopping trip. His first stop is a warehouse on Elliott Street, where he buys a large suitcase, not for travel, but to conceal a body. He checks its measurements carefully, testing width and depth as if ensuring everything will fit. About 25 minutes later, he's in another shop buying several cleaning products, detergents, sprays, anything to scrub away the evidence. Then he returns to his room and disappears for several hours. Reappearing around 10:42 a.m., he hails a taxi, goes straight to a car rental agency, and hires a vehicle. What follows pushes the timeline into the truly shocking. While Grace's body still lies inside his apartment, Jesse arranges another Tinder date. Given that he already has supplies, a suitcase, and a rental car, many suspect this wasn't an innocent coincidence. Perhaps he intended to make this new woman his next victim. When he arrives at the bar that day, he is still wearing the same clothes from the night before, the same outfit he may have been wearing when Grace died. Whether he pressed this new date in the same way he did with Grace is unclear, but the conversation he had with her soon turned disturbing. She would later report feeling unsafe and left before the night ended, a decision that likely saved her life. Meanwhile, Jessie continued to move, tidy, and transport, each action tightening the noose around the truth, while the city and police raced to catch up. Almost immediately, the new date picked up warning signs, things the woman later described as deeply unsettling. He began talking about where to hide a body, asking questions that made her skin crawl. Her instincts kicked in, and she left the bar straight away, a decision that may very well have saved her life. By 8:56 p.m., CCTV shows Jessie returning to his apartment carrying a bulky piece of equipment, a carpet cleaning machine. He moves with purpose, wielding 2 cleaning units as if determined to scrub every trace of what had happened at his room. Half an hour later, he reappears in the elevator pushing a trolley loaded with luggage, among it the suitcase he bought that morning. It's heavy. Inside is the unthinkable. Unable to haul that weight through public streets, he uses the rental car he took earlier. Minutes later, he is filmed loading all the baggage into the vehicle, preparing to transport what he hopes will remain hidden. The following morning at 7 a.m., he buys a shovel. Back at his room, he gathers clothing and other items, things he then drops off at a dry cleaner, likely attempting to destroy evidence. He also discards a large plastic bag into a public bin along his route. Next, he returns the rental and gives the car a thorough clean, concentrating on the rear, where the suitcase had been stashed. With that, he appears to finish his grim work. For the next 48 hours, Grace's loved ones endured a living nightmare, frantic calls left unanswered, growing dread, and a desperate search that would upend every life it touched. Days went by with no word from Grace. She stopped posting on social media, and neither of her 2 phones answered. By December 5th, her family's fear became action. They reported her missing to Auckland police. Her father, David Millane, flew to New Zealand and made a heartfelt plea to the public.
Grace has been missing for several days, and as a family we've been extremely concerned for her welfare. Do anybody who has seen, spoken to or come into contact with Grace come forward and contact the investigation team.
Despite the nationwide appeal and massive media attention, the messages that poured in didn't bring Grace back. But police quickly turned to hard detective work. They sifted through hours of CCTV around the city, tracing Grace's last known movements. Slowly, the trail led them to a mystery man, the last person seen with her, and, importantly, to his apartment. On December 5th at 3 p.m., officers arrived at the City Life Hotel to speak with that man. For a moment, it looked as though he might slip away. He gave them a suspicious look in the lobby and tried to walk off casually, but the detectives were alert. They followed and detained him before he could leave. At that point, the smartest move for the suspect would have been to tell the truth, perhaps admit a terrible mistake and accept responsibility. Instead, in the interview room, he chose to lie. He didn't know then that police already had an almost complete record of his movements from the night in question: CCTV, purchases, and digital traces. The evidence was already stacked against him. When asked to describe his encounter with Grace, he began to recount the events in a calm, rehearsed way.
Grace.
So I was talking to Grace on Tinder.
Yeah.
We'd matched on Friday. I saw that we'd matched the next day on Saturday. And then we met at Sky City. And then we decided that we were going up to Andy's Burger Bar, which is on the first floor.
But his story soon tangled. He claimed Grace was the one who pushed for the date, a claim that clashed with the timeline investigators had pulled from messages showing he had been the one pursuing her. When detectives asked whose idea it was to go to the burger place, he answered,
Whose idea was it to go to that particular burger place?
Me. Because I didn't initially know that she was real.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of... So have you heard of catfish?
No.
So catfishing is where someone uses your profile, or uses your photos and pretends to be you and then meets, and you're a completely different person.
Right.
And it's on Tinder, it's all about the way you look. And so if they use more endearing photos, you're more likely to swipe for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does meeting in a public place sort of protect you from meeting someone who's not as good looking as...
Well, there's security there. So if she wasn't who she said she was, at least in my mind, I'd feel safe.
Not long into the questioning, Jesse slips into his first lie. He insists that Grace was the one eager to meet, claiming she had been the one pushing for a date. But investigators already know from their review of the messages that it was Jesse himself who had been persistently pursuing her, sending multiple texts and making repeated efforts to arrange the meeting.
No. I go down Victoria Street, straight down to the bottom, and then hang a left, and I head towards the viaduct.
You go to the viaduct a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've kind of walked in a bit of a funny direction if you were planning to go to the viaduct.
Well, it's the direction I normally go.
Yeah. It's I'm just sort of saying, like, if you were planning to go to the viaduct.
I normally go down Queen Street and then cross at the bottom of Queen Street, go through the containers, and then walk along the wharf.
Yeah. Is there a particular reason you would kind of do that?
I feel safer down that way.
When detectives present Jesse with the CCTV footage, he keeps spinning more lies, digging himself deeper into a hole that he'll soon find almost impossible to climb out of.
Actually don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well.
Okay.
But she might also be dead. Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Have I been arrested for something I didn't do?
You haven't been arrested, mate.
Oh.
No. Actually don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well.
Okay.
But she might also be dead. Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Have I been arrested for something I didn't do?
You haven't been arrested, mate.
Oh.
No.
Oh. Holy.
He hasn't been placed under arrest yet, but Auckland police are already certain that Jesse either knows what happened to Grace or is the one directly responsible. And with every new lead, that belief grows stronger. It isn't just the CCTV footage tightening the case. Remember the suitcase and cleaning supplies Jesse bought the morning after the date? Investigators discovered those purchases were made using Grace's own credit card, along with an extra night's payment at the City Life Hotel. It's even suspected that Jesse used Grace's money to pay for his next Tinder date. That extra hotel night, police believe, gave him just enough time to try and erase what he'd done. But a carpet cleaner can't wash away every trace of a crime. When detectives searched his room, they found spots of Grace's blood, linking her directly to the scene. And when they combined that with the credit card records, witness statements, cell phone data, and the detailed surveillance footage, the picture became undeniable. By December 7th, Jesse was backed into a corner. He had no way out, and in his second interrogation he finally confessed. A confession that would soon give rise to one of the most controversial and disturbing legal defenses ever seen in a New Zealand courtroom.
They were talking to me about 50 Shades of Grey, which is a sex fantasy movie that's out. We started having sex. At first it was just normal. It was very placid. And then she asked me if we could get into bondage. And then all I remember is falling asleep in the shower. I need to stop. I need to go.
Would you like some fresh air?
Yeah, please. I was in shock and I didn't know what to do. I went downstairs and I was just, I don't know, I was all over the place. I didn't
believe what had happened. I was just terrified and scared. I thought that she had gone. I thought she had left.
Pathologist, specialist doctor will perform a post-mortem. They're very skilled at establishing people's causes of death. Do you understand that?
I went to the warehouse at the atrium and bought a suitcase. I went back and I was just in shock because it just didn't seem right. I left to go and get cleaning products. So I messaged a friend and said I'll meet you at Revelry. After finishing drinks with her, I got back to city life. And the whole time I just kept saying I'm sorry. And then I went downstairs and I grabbed the porter thing and I put the suitcase on top of the porter thing. I drove the hire car into Wilson's car park and parked it. I woke up the next day at about 5 a.m. and drove the car out to Cumu at first. I picked up a shovel from ITM at Cumu. I ended up driving towards the Waitakaris. I went into the bush, I dug a hole, I went and got the suitcase and I covered the hole and then I drove.
Where is her possessions?
I threw them in the rubbish.
Whereabouts?
Albert Park, rubbish.
Right. So what items of her property have been disposed of in Albert Park?
Everything.
All of her clothing?
Everything that was in the room.
Whereabouts did you clean the car? The outside of the car?
I think it was in Henderson. I don't know West very well.
Okay. And what did you use to clean the car?
A water blaster thing from a car cleaning place.
Did she have any injuries?
Not that I can remember. I was just panicking.
Did you inflict any injuries on her that caused her to die?
No.
Did you kill Grace Millane? Okay. And you're under arrest for the murder of Grace Millane on or about the 2nd of December.
Okay.
You understand?
Yep.
Did you intend to cause her death?
No.
Are you ready to take us to where she is?
The media soon labeled his strategy as the 50 Shades of Grey defense. It's a legal argument, suggesting that during intimate acts, a person might voluntarily accept certain risks, and if things go wrong, it could be considered an accident rather than murder. In such cases, lawyers often push for a lesser charge of manslaughter, claiming there was no intent to kill. But many legal experts and the public alike saw this as nothing more than a loophole, a convenient excuse designed to reduce accountability, because no matter how it was framed, it couldn't change what happened to Grace, nor erase the chilling evidence uncovered in the days that followed. Between December 1st and 7th, investigators pieced together Jesse's digital trail. They found Google searches on his phone about where to hide a body and discovered he had even taken photographs of Grace's remains, both before and after sealing her inside the suitcase. On December 9th, 2018, police found Grace Millane's body buried in the Waitakere Ranges just outside Auckland. The autopsy confirmed she had been strangled with bruises on her arms and chest. Consistent with being forcibly restrained, in New Zealand, murder is treated under a single definition. There are no degrees of homicide. That meant the only question for the jury was simple. Did Jesse Kempson cause Grace's death or not? Despite his continued denial, the evidence spoke louder than his words. On February 21st, 2020, he was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. After the trial, 2 additional women came forward, accusing Jesse of assaulting them after meeting through Tinder. He was later found guilty on both counts, earning another 11 years to be served alongside his life sentence.